friends, Krista here. Thank you so much for stopping by Books and Jams. Today it is time for me to tell you about the 20 books that I am choosing for the Booktube Spin Round 4. This has been a fun activity that Rick McDonnell has hosted this year as a way to just add a little randomization to your TBR. In the past, he has taken a month to do the spin and then 2 months to read the book. This time he's like, we do it quarterly. Why don't I just announce it at the beginning of the quarter and you have the whole rest of the quarter to read your books? I know some people have kept the same list of 20 books all the way through the year. I have switched it up every time and today is no different. So today I'm going to share with you the 20 books that are my numbers, and in a couple days, Rick is going to spin the wheel and give us 1 or 2 numbers, and we have to read whatever book shows up, and we have the rest of the quarter to read that book. So today I'm going to share with you my choices, and then just in the community tab, once the number is announced, I will share what book I have, which book won, and which one I have to read before the end of the year. Here's how I chose my books this time around. I have, as you may know, a cart, a TBR cart of sorts, in which at the beginning of the year, I ask you for your recommendations from my list of owned books on Goodreads. And I put all the books that you guys recommended onto my cart. And so one of my goals that I didn't talk about in my goal video is to read books off of this cart during the year. This is my 3rd year doing this project. I've kept track every year of how many books that I read from that cart. So my goal for the year was to read more than I did in the year before. Some of the books have overlapped from year to year. Some of them are new choices, but here's what I did for today. For this round of the Booktube Spin, I have chosen the top 10 rated books from according to Goodreads and the lowest 10 rated books off of that list. So I have a spreadsheet where I put all of the books into it, and this year I included their Goodreads rating so that I could see just what the ratings are. So I obviously didn't include books that I've already read this year or books that I've unhauled, but we're going to start with number 1, and I'm going to tell you what the book is and what it's rated, and the first 10 are my highest rated and the second 10 are my lowest rated. So jumping right in with a Goodreads rating of 4.4, I have Codename Helene by Ariel Lawhon. I'm really excited to read this. I did enjoy I Was Anastasia, and I've heard even more praise for this one. Codename Helene is a historical fiction about a female spy during World War II. I mean, if that doesn't scream a Krista book, I don't know what does. So that's number 1. Number 2 is one that a lot of you said that you wanted me to read this year, and with 4.38 rating, it is 1,000 Splendid Suns by Khaled Hosseini. And I loved The Kite Runner. Last year I read The Kite Runner and that was on the list, or maybe was it earlier this year? I don't even know. But I've read The Kite Runner and loved it. And I haven't read anything else by him, and he has a couple other books. This would be wonderful if number 2 is the choice. So that's number 2. Number 3 is a middle grade, Dear Martin by Nick Stone, a book that I'm very eager to read. It's a teeny tiny one about a young Black man who writes letters to Martin Luther King Jr. about life as a Black man and a young Black man and questions that he has and about racism. And I just have heard such high praise for this book, and I'm very, very eager to read it. So that's number 3. Number 4 would be a doozy if this gets chosen. Oh, Dear Martin also has 4.38 on Goodreads with 4.37. Voyager by Diana Gabaldon. It's huge. I do have 3 months to read it. So if number 4 gets picked, I would be okay because I have a lot of time. And I probably would choose an audio version of this, but Voyager is book 3 in the Outlander series. It's huge. Book 5 is a Christian fiction, and with 4.35, it is Waves of Mercy by Lynn Austen. We have Anna, who's a Chicago socialite. She retreats away after breaking her engagement to her fiance, and then she kind of finds solace in this relationship with one of the hotel workers who's planning to go into the ministry. But then his grandmother, I believe, is sifting through her memories of the Netherlands, and I can't pronounce her name, so I'm not even going to try. And somehow these two women's lives are connected. It's been a while since I've read Lynn Austen, but I have really liked her in the past. So this would be book 5. Book 6 is a Jodi Picoult book, Small Great Things. This has been super popular since it came out a couple years ago. I just haven't read a Jodi P book in a really long time. So if book 6 gets picked, this would be my choice. Oh, and that Small Great Things has a 4.34 rating. With 4.32 is a young adult book by Bridget Kemmerer, More Than We Can Tell. I believe this is a sequel or a companion novel to Letters to the Lost, which I have read and really enjoyed. So I don't know if it follows some of the same characters or someone who's mentioned in that first book, which I read a while ago and don't really remember, but this would be book 7. For number 8, I have another Christian fiction by Tamara Alexander, To Wager Her Heart. This is a Belmead Plantation novel. This one is going to take place in Nashville at the Belmead Plantation and involve a woman who wants to be a professor or is a professor at a local college. It's going to have a singing group. It's going to have lots of different things. I don't know. This one will be number 8, and this has 4.31 rating on Goodreads. Another chunker of a choice is Dragonfly by Leila Meacham. This has a 4.29. This I have heard about because Lindsay from Lindsay's Little Library loves Leila Meacham, and I haven't read anything by her. It is a chunker, and I think it's a World War II. Yeah, it's a World War II. American spies are sent to Paris. I don't need to know more than that. I'm very interested. That would be number 9. And number 10, so the last of my highest rating, is another Christian fiction, Love Finds You in Sugar Creek, Ohio. It looks like it's going to be Amish. We've got a horse and buggy there. That will just be a Christian fiction romance focused book. So that's number 10, and that is with 4.28. So now we're going to switch gears to the second half of this list, and we're going down to the bottom. So number 11 is the lowest rated book on my recommendations cart, and that is the Jane Austen Book Club by Karen Joy Fowler. This has a 3.12. That's really low. I've seen this movie, and I think the movie is super cute, so I'm not sure why the book is rated so low, but I might be reading it if number 11 is the choice. So it's just about a group of people who read through Jane Austen's works, and it deals with the different issues in their personal lives. Number 12 is a book that is by an author that I love, Liane Moriarty, but Truly Madly Guilty is not one of people's favorites of her books. This has a 3.57. So we jump a lot from 3.12 to 3.57. But I am interested in reading all the books that I own by Liane Moriarty, so I would be okay if number 12 gets picked. Number 13 is The 19th Wife by David Ebershoff, and I believe this is about a Mormon family, a woman who's the 19th wife. I don't know if it's a thriller or if it's just a family drama. It is historical, 1875, and Anne Eliza Young has recently separated from her powerful husband, Brigham Young, prophet and leader of the Mormon Church. So very interesting backstory there. That would be number 13. Number 14 is on my Newbery shelf. Yay for that. And that's Johnny Tremaine. Sad that it doesn't have very high ratings. This has a 3.64. This is by Esther Forbes, and I will be reading this at some point, so why not during the big Booktube spin? Book 15 is another book that I'm very interested in reading. I saw a lot of people read this a couple years ago, and it has a 3.65 rating, and that's The Trouble with Goats and Sheep by Joanna Cannon. I almost picked this up over the summer, but I started the audiobook and didn't get drawn in right away. It was when I was doing a lot of traveling, and it wasn't going to be the best car listen. So maybe it's one that I need to start in print and then switch to the audio. We'll see. If number 15 is what gets spun, then this will be what I read at the end of the year. Then we have a thriller. So this could be a perfect choice if 16 gets picked. And this has a 3.69 rating, and it's The Night Sister by Jennifer McMahon. I've not read anything by Jennifer McMahon, but I've heard she's pretty creepy. And I believe this involves two sisters and their friend. And when they're young, they see or experience something that has rippling effect throughout their lives. So I'm curious, cautiously curious. So book 17 feels like a summary book, The Melancholy Life of Annie Astor by Scott Wilbanks. I love this cover. I'm hoping this is much better for me than what it's rated, but it has a 3.71 rating on Goodreads. And this, I believe, is just it is a little bit historical. It takes place in the 1890s. Annie's new pen pal has been dead for over 70 years. Dun, dun, dun. Maybe it is a good book for the fall. I don't know. And then book 18 is The Invisible Library by Genevieve Cogman. One thing any librarian will tell you, the truth is much stranger than fiction. Irene is a professional spy for the mysterious library, capital L library, a shadowy organization that collects important works of fiction from all the different realities. So there's a little bit of fantasy going on there. This one has a 3.73 on Goodreads. Sounds good and also feels appropriate for fall. So maybe. Book 19 is The Little Shop of Found Things by Paula Braxton. This one has a 3.77 rating on Goodreads. I keep looking at the descriptions of these and realizing that they sound perfect for fall. An antique shop haunted by a ghost, a silver treasure with an injustice in its story, and an adventure to the past that she'll never forget. That sounds like a good fall read. Maybe it'll get picked. I don't know. This stack next to me is getting very precarious. And then book 20. I'm really hoping 20 is not the number that gets spun, to be honest. With a 3.78, book 20 is Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. I don't know if this is all the story or if there's a long introduction. Okay, so the introduction is only this much. The rest, oh, and then there's footnotes here, end notes. So it is 466, so it's less than 500 pages. However, I'm not sure. I want this to get picked, but this has, 3.78. Charles Dickens. Dickens is not my favorite, but I would have 3 months to read it. I could do it on audio. I have read the abridged version when I was younger. I don't know that I've ever read the full version, or was it abridged? I don't know. I may have read this in high school, but I don't remember for sure. I know it's Pip and an old cranky woman, overgrown churchyard. Pip and what's that woman's name? Estella. I'm not excited about that one, but that would be book 20. So those are the 20 books that are on my list for the Booktube Spin round 4. I would love to hear from you. What do you think about these choices? What do you think about the Goodreads ratings? Do they match up with how you felt about the books? I would like to know, of those lowest ones, which ones would you be interested in me doing a try a chapter with? Because I did that last fall as well, a try a chapter with my lowest rated books. I might do that again in the next couple months. So I would love to know which of these you'd be most interested in seeing a try a chapter for. And yeah, I'll have to keep you posted about which one I'm going to be reading. I don't know. We shall see. That's it for today, though. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching, and I appreciate you immensely. And I will be talking with you in another video very soon. Bye.